Alright, in this drawing we're going to try to make just the drawer here. So it's 3/4 of an inch. So it's this drawer, the bottom part right here. And let's pan up here a little bit. It's 3/4 of an inch tall by 3 inches wide, 8 inches long. Alright, we can find some of the details. We can find some of the details when we get over here. So this is the drawer part that has the cutouts in it. This is going to be the feature here that we're going to worry about on this, and it's 3/4 of an inch tall, so we'll make that 3/4 of an inch, and we won't worry about the bottom part of that. Okay, so let's move on here. We're going to go into Inventor. So I've already made it one time, so I'll do it again here to move this on to show you how to do that. Start with a new part. Start with a 2D sketch. And I'm going to pick something like the XY plane there and just click that. So first thing I'm going to do is sketch what I think that's going to look like. And so it's going to look something like this. And right, so it'll look something like that. I did a bad sketch on purpose so I can show you how to do the constraining. So I want to do a constraint and make this one say vertical. Right, I want to maybe make this one parallel, so I want to say that this one and this one are parallel. I want to make this one so it's horizontally constrained, looks like it already is, and I'll make this one so it's coplanar, so they're on the same plane. Also, I'm going to say that I want this one and this one to be equal with one another, and I'm going to say that these two should probably be equal also. Right, so now we're getting ready to talk about dimension in this. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put a dimension on here and say that goes 0.75 high, exactly 0.75. I'll put one on here that makes this 3 wide. Alright, so then a dimension next, I'll put this one from here to here that makes this 0.125, and this one is only 0.25. Alright, so then the last dimension I have to put on is this one. Right here, that one is 0.25. Alright, so I got 0.25 there, and I'll go here and try to extrude this, and I'm going to go extrude that out 8 inches and go in the other direction. That's just a personal preference on this one. So I've got that already made, so now we'll start talking about doing this here. We'll create a new sketch on the top, and I'm going to go ahead and put a rectangle in here that looks like this, one that kind of goes in here like this. And then there's a long one that goes in here like that. Now I'm deliberately lining those up because it constrains those that way. So let's go back and look at our drawing. This specific part right here, we've already got that covered, so I'll worry about this specific part right here. So it's 1/4 of an inch off the end, 3 inches, 1/8 of an inch, and 4 3/8. So we'll go here and put a dimension that goes from here to here, and that is 0.25. This one was 3 inches. 3 inches there. This was 1/8 of an inch between those two right there, 0.125. And then what was that last one? I forgot already. 4 3/8. So you should be able to go in here and put in 4 space 3/8, and it should work out all right. Then the next thing we'll do is let's see. Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. 1/8 of an inch, 1 inch wide there, and 1/8 in between the two. And it looks like it's 3/8 inches off the end there. So off the edge was 3/8, 0.375. This I think was 1 1/4 inches, right? 1.25. If it's not, I'll fix it in a minute. So that was 1/8, 0.125 there. This one was only 1 inch, so that should work out all right. And it looks like that's about right. Let me double check. So I'm going to go back here. 3/8, 1/8 in between, 1 and 1/8. So I might have done those backwards. So this one was 1. This is 1 and 1/8, 1.125 there. So that's a little bit wider. All right. So then I'll finish that sketch. Right, and I'm ready to start extruding these. So I'm going to extrude this one, and this one, and I want to move them down so they cut through there, but I don't want them to go 8 inches. I think it's 0.5 deep, but let's double check. We'll go back here and look over on this part. So this is the bottom part right here, and so these are those holes that are getting cut into those things, and so this tells us 1/4 of an inch, and since it's the only place that dimension's given, we're just going to assume that this is also 1/4 of an inch. So if this is 3/4 of an inch tall, and we go down we subtract a quarter of an inch from that, it's going to leave 0.5. So it is in fact 0.5 deep right there. There's no degrees on it or anything like that. So you click finish that sketch. Now the other thing we'll notice is that back over here they have round edges on them, and this radius up on this one shows us 3/8 inch radius is typical. So we'll go back here and we're going to click fillet, and we're going to change this to 0.375, which is also 3/8. You can also type 3/8 in there, and we're going to click right on those corner lines. So we put that in there so we get those corners in this way, and putting those corners in like this. And I got one more right here. So I got a corner on each one of those, all of those around, click apply, and so we got that part of it done. All right, so that's our part. So next we're going to go up here, we're going to save this, and I've already saved it as the, this is the drawer, right, the third part. So I'm going to go ahead and just call it, put an A here next to it, call it revision A, and save that. So then we'll go click new. I'm going to create the drawing part of it here, and it only takes a couple minutes. So we're going to do ANSI inch IDW, click create, and I'm going to change the border, change the size of the page already. So D size is huge. See, it's 22 by 34, and so we'll change this here so it's 11 by 17, and click OK. All right, then I'm going to click base, and I don't like that view as my base view, so I'm going to change this to the side view like that. And that looks good. So I can put the right side view here, the top view there, and I could potentially put an isometric up there. Let's see if that works out. So, all right. So this is how we're going to do this. We're going to start putting dimensions on this. Let me show you how to do this so you know. We're going to click annotate and put a dimension on the overall length of this part. So we're going to tell us how long that is, and that's okay. And we're going to say how tall this is. So we'll go from that line to this line right here, and I'm going to put it, see how it snaps to that right there? That's just kind of a snap point, a standard point. That's good. So we've got an overall length, and then we've got an overall width right here. All right, so actually what I'm going to do is I want to change this. I want to move it down a little bit so it's on the same line as the 8 there, so it looks good. Because neatness is everything. Okay, so then we'll come up here and we're going to put the dimensions on the way we drew it before. So we'll go from this line to this line and say that's 1/4 of an inch. And then I'll do the next one. Go from here to here and say that that's that one right there. We don't want to do that because of, we don't want to dimension that side over there because of a tolerance stack-up issue. This tells us how long the part is, so we've got those two figured out. So we'll go here and put this one from here to here, and I'm going to move that out to, say, right about, I like it right there, that snap point. Do this one. Let's see if we can get this one in there. So that becomes weird. See how those two cross over one another? So I'm going to move this out here a little bit to that point. I'll do one that puts that one right in the middle, and let's see, those get bizarre when we do that. So I'm going to pick a point somewhere right here in the middle, like that, and we'll do one that goes across the width there. So those two are lined up, and I don't need to do the other side there because this is already covered. Now, since it was 3/8 of an inch, I'm going to right-click on this one. Oh, I'll click OK, and then I'm going to right-click on this one and do the precision of 3 decimal places. I'll change this one to precision of 3 decimal places. This one, I'll do the precision of 3 decimal places because that's equal to 1/8 when you saw that there. All right, these other ones are fine the way they are. That just tells us, usually it would be given. If you did 0.13, the machinist would know. So the other one here is we're going to put this on here and say that the radius of this is 0.37. We want to change this precision actually here in a second. So we're just going to say that this, we're going to call it radius and put TYP. Oops, need my cap lock on. TYP stands for typical, which means that all the places we do that, that's what it's going to be. So that's what's going to happen there. And so that'll tell us that. Or we could count all those out and say it's going to be 4, 8, 12 places when we do that. All right, I'll right click on this. Oh, hit OK. I hit escape twice. Right click on that and change that precision to 3 decimal places because that's equal to 3/8. That's the conversion. Okay, so the other thing we can do is we could do the dimension here on that one. I'm going to take this and move this out of the way. I'm going to show you how to do this where we take a detail and create a detail of this because it makes it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click the detail view, and then it asks us here to select a center point. So I'm going to put it right in here. I'm going to say I want that to be my center point. I'm going to drag this out right here. So this tells us that that's A. Not contain any model edges. That's bizarre. Well, that's a whole lot of fun. Error in the creation. So let me see. I'll try it again. So mistakes happen sometimes, and weird things go on. And that's okay. So that's my view. Oh, I must have clicked the wrong view before, accidentally. So I clicked that view up there. That's what it was. So now I'll put this one here. It tells us what the detail is, and so now we can go in here and click annotate, and it automatically changes the scale for us. So even though this is a larger scale, the dimensions are going to be correct. So we're doing that. Put this one in here like that. And there's another one we're going to put in here, this dimension for that right there. Let me find that where it snaps to it. And that's good. Right click. Oh, okay. Right click on this and then click precision. Say 3 decimal places. All right. So that's that right there. So that's full scale. That's what that is. We're good there. And last thing we're going to do, go ahead and click save because we'll save it. There's that drawer. Click file. Go to iProperties. We're going to change this stuff in here. So the title will be the drawer. Oops. I need the cap lock on. Drawer. Company. iStem Foundations. So that's good. Project. We're going to take drawer out of here as the part number. I'm even going to take the A out because I don't need it. But we'll change this and put drawer in right here. So that should be good. And when we click apply now, it should all fill itself in. Close, and there we go. That's all filled in. So that's the part, and we're done.